Star Wars, one of the most iconic sci-fi series on the entire planet, or science fantasy if you care about that distinction. Either way, Star Wars captured the hearts and minds of audiences all over. Tales of the Jedi and the Force would go on to inspire generations of creative individuals. Some of those individuals create more awesome Star Wars stuff, like Knights of the Old Republic. Others still went on to create their own things, but when you make original things, it's built on top of the things that inspire you. It's not uncommon for creators to acknowledge those inspirations by paying subtle or not so subtle tribute to the greats that came before. Cartoons are no exception. My name is Tim, and today on Channel Frederator we're counting our top 10 Star Wars homages in cartoons. Let's get started. Number 10, Dexters Lab. One of my favorite episodes of Dexters Lab was The Muffin King. Dexter's dear old dad is so obsessed with muffins that he's willing to do just about anything to get them, even resorting to intense Jedi mind tricks to get what he wants. No, really, he does a Jedi mind trick. He steps out of the shadows and does the whole Dexter, I am your father thing. That gag is common in all media, but I like the execution here. Dexter's dad stares at his son so hard that even Dexter's logical mind falters. Dexter's dad is normally played off as incompetent, but here he's shown to be dangerously powerful. Maybe radiation from all those secret experiments in the lab gave Dexter's dad some kind of superpowers. I mean, Dexter's monkey has superpowers. Number 9, the Venture Brothers. Henchman number 21 might have the most complicated and intriguing arc of all the characters across all of the Venture Bros. He transforms from a scared, timid, overweight henchman to a brawny, capable sidekick. At all points, however, he revels in everything nerdy. When Dr. Venture has a yard sale, number 21 breaks his orders and spends the Monarch's money to purchase a lightsaber. When a fight breaks out, he's ready to go with his new toy, and he has the look every wannabe Jedi would have. The excitement of having a lightsaber and a cause to use it. Me calling it a toy wasn't a mistake. It's a toy. It can't cut anything, and he's beaten up a few moments later. But the Star Wars love doesn't end there. In the latest season, he takes to wearing a Jedi robe and talking to his dead best friend as though he's Yoda. I don't mean that as an offhanded comparison. He uses exact word-for-word quotes from Yoda. He exemplifies the uber Star Wars fan and gets to live in a world where that means having a lightsaber. Frankly, I'm jealous. Number 8, the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie proved to me that any idea, no matter how absurd, can make a great movie. One of the perks of working with Lego is having access to nearly every pop culture franchise in all of existence. When Emmett and his crew need a hyperdrive, the Millennium Falcon just happens to stop by on their way to a super cool space party. Batman hitches a ride with Lando and Han. Lando is played by Billy D. Williams, the guy who plays him in the actual movies. Batman pilfers the hyperdrive, dooming the Star Wars gang and the Millennium Falcon, but helping Emmett and company get a leg up on Lord Business. Number 7, Samurai Jack. A second Tartakovsky cartoon makes the list, and I'm sure that has nothing to do with my deep-seated personal bias. It is appropriate though, since Tartakovsky would go on to create the wonderful 2003 Clone Wars series. One particular episode of Samurai Jack, Jack and the Flying Prince and Princess, is a retelling of episode 4 condensed into 22 minutes, except this version involves a lot more moth people. For all that, no Mon Mothma jokes. The general plotline follows the beginning of A New Hope, but the roles get a little bit mixed up. The titular Prince and Princess serve as stand-ins for R2-D2, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker, which is confusing because Jack also takes on Luke moments, as well as Obi-Wan moments. Also, there is a C-3PO and it gets straight up murdered. So it's not a blow-for-blow retelling of the story, but it's reverent, and it includes a lot of fun direct quotes. You should find an excuse to watch Samurai Jack anyways, but if you haven't, then you can add this excuse to the pile. Number 6, South Park. You can expect just about any big news will find a place in South Park. Having episodes related to presidential elections is standard fare. So when Obama secured his re-election in 2012, everyone knew what to expect. The episode Obama Wins centers around how Obama got his win. It turns out that the Chinese influenced the election, but the election results come with strings attached. The Chinese want the rights to Star Wars instead of Disney. This reveal spawns a number of plot lines as everyone tries to decide what the right thing is. Should they reveal the Chinese interference? Is the election invalid? Why are the Chinese so interested in Star Wars? It turns out they're huge Star Wars fans, and they're afraid of the mouse's influence on the franchise. By taking it for themselves, they can ensure that no harm comes to Star Wars. Personally speaking, I thought The Force Awakens did a lot right, but in 2012, nobody knew what to expect from Disney's acquisition. And I love the idea of a massive election conspiracy all centered around protecting a film series. Also, this episode includes a lot of Morgan Freeman explaining things, which is never not funny. Number 5, Static Shock. Static Shock is an underrated DC show from the early 2000s, featuring Virgil Hawkins, aka Static, as he takes on the problems of Dakota cities, and making a slight detour to pay homage to Star Wars. In the episode Shebang, Static gets shown up by a new superhero on the scene. He devotes himself to beating her to the punch so she can't continue to one-up him. One of the crimes they stop? A rampaging hot streak. Now, hot streak rampages occur on a daily basis, and often without cause or warning. This one has a reason. He's upset that the movie Space Battles 9 disappointed him. It's hard not to draw the connection between something titled Space Battles and Star Wars. And this show aired in the early 2000s, in the midst of the prequels. This doesn't pay homage to the films, it pays homage to the fans that put the fear of God into Disney and J.J. Abrams not to screw up The Force Awakens. That angry, swarming mass of unfiltered internet tears that lurks in the heart of all. This scene shows us why we don't get superpowers. A disgruntled movie buff can make some trouble, but a disgruntled movie buff with flame powers? That's a scarier proposition than most supervillains. That said, I'm surprised Hotstreak enjoys sci-fi movies. The show plays him as a jock, so I'm glad he feels secure enough to indulge his sci-fi love. Also, did I mention this show deserves love? You should watch it if you haven't. Number 4, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. If you had told me a while back that the audience that loves Star Wars and the audience that loves My Little Pony would have a wide overlap, I would have tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I would have guessed that Hasbro execs and animators didn't feel the same. Goes to show what I know. Season 2, Episode 2 of My Little Pony sees our heroes vanquish evil. They get a big ceremony. Not just any ceremony though. They get a near shot-for-shot recreation of the end scene of A New Hope. You can find comparison videos online. Without changing the characters of either story, I don't think you could make the comparison closer. Number 3, Clarence. A lot of cartoons do their own version of a lightsaber fight on a catwalk. If you do any parodies or references at all, then it's a rite of passage. Clarence at its heart is a show that doesn't just look at childhood. It's about what it feels like to be a child in the moment. And the recreation of a Star Wars fight in the Fun Dungeon is something that it's easy to see kids doing. Admittedly, Jeff is a bit more murderous than your typical kid. Don't touch another man's fries, Clarence. It's choreographed well enough, but the part of this homage that's so fun is how well it blends in with the world of Clarence. The action zooms out to wider shots and cuts music to remind you that no matter what the characters feel or how strong they feel it, this is a battle with foam padding in a play place. Though they are climbing on the outside of the structure, which is dangerous. Number 2, Robot Chicken. It's no secret that Seth Green is a huge Star Wars fan, so it should be no surprise that his show pays homage to the series. In case you've been living under a rock, Robot Chicken is a sketch comedy show done in stop-motion animation. I'm glad we live in a world where I can say those words in that combination and not be crazy. Anyways, in a sketch show that spends so much time with pop culture, a Star Wars sketch is inevitable. But the show didn't content itself with one single sketch. It dedicates instead specials to the pop culture giant, and they're hysterical. Some of these are funny to anyone. A stormtrooper participating in Take Your Daughter to Work Day works with only a cursory knowledge of the franchise. A lot of the sketches cut deeper though. Personally, I have a soft spot for Admiral Akbar cereal. These are sketches that aren't just about Star Wars. They're sketches about Star Wars from a Star Wars fan for Star Wars fans. If you own a replica lightsaber and you haven't seen these, you need to check them out. And number 1, Family Guy. As we've seen, a lot of shows are happy to do discrete callouts to Star Wars, but few shows dedicate an entire trilogy to the retelling of the classic saga. Love or hate Family Guy, you have to respect the effort that goes into their Star Wars specials. They hit all the important beats from the original films, but interjected with their own humor, characters, and jokes. There's a lot to chuckle at here, but not all of the jokes relate back to Star Wars. Instead, they tell jokes about our world in a Star Wars backdrop. Still, it's clear that the team involved loved Star Wars. Not surprising, since Seth Green voices Chris, aka Luke Skywalker. They even mentioned the Robot Chicken Star Wars special at the end of Blue Harvest. Also, if you didn't know, Blue Harvest was the working name for Star Wars, so that's a pretty good example of the level of knowledge on display in these parodies. Thank you for watching our top 10 Star Wars homages and cartoons. If you enjoyed these videos, you can check out some of the other videos we have in the annotations now, and be sure to subscribe for more videos about your favorite cartoons dropping every week. And remember, Frederator loves you.